SIR and ICP with relevant information. Social work at a glance. Humanitarian and democratic matrix of social work philosophy. Social problems in India. Social disorganization, poverty, unemployment, population explosion, communalism, secularism, regionalism, backward castes, tribes and classes, youth unrest and agitation, child abuse and child labor, violence against women, illiteracy, urbanization, crime and criminals, juvenile delinquency, alcoholism, drug abuse and drug addiction, AIDS, terrorism, corruption, bonded labor, black money. Types of needs: biological needs, social needs, cultural needs, psychological needs. Type of approaches: curative, correctional, rehabilitative, preventive, developmental, development type of methods. Casework, group work, community organization, social action, social work administration, social work research. Tools: use of self, use of program, relationship, interaction. Pro- Project proposal: title, aims, objectives, target population, background and justification, approach and strategy, program, work plan, proposed proposed output, monitoring and evaluation, sustainability, personal requirement, budget. Techniques: interviewing, listening, observing, questioning, supporting, education, counseling, explaining, informing, advising, agreeing, disagreeing, reviewing, reinforcing, confronting, clarifying, resuming. Fields of social work: child, women, youth, rural, urban, industrial, social development, health, mental health, retardation, education, social defense, family planning, environment. Research study proposal: problem, introduction, statement of the problem, review of literature, concept and theories, previous research findings, present study, nature of study, objectives, hypothesis, operational definitions, significance of the study, scope of the study, research design, exploratory, descriptive, diagnostic, experimental, universe and sample, data collection, source of data collection, tools of data data collection, data processing, data analysis and interpretation, limitation, report writing. Role of social worker: the enabler, the guide, the advocate, the experts, the therapist, social changers, the informer, the helper, the promoter, the preacher. Post corp: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, budgeting. Community profile: demographic profile, name of the community, location, total number of households, population, caste, economic status, housing, land, agricultural land, states of women and status of women and children, historical background, geographical area map, legal and political status, major occupation, professions, agricultural pattern and seasonal cycle, religious ceremony, rituals, festivals, state, steps of community organization, consciousness of need, spreading the consciousness of need, projection, emotional impulses to meet the need quickly, presentation of the solution, investigation, open discussion of issue, integration of solutions, compromise on basis of tentative progress. Principles Principle of social work: individualization, meaningful relationships, self-determination, acceptance, communication, social functioning, tuning behavior, social learning, confidentiality. Social casework process. Social casework process. Social investigation, psychosocial study, content of social investigation. 1. Picture of the problem. 2. Client's feeling and reaction. 3. Client's effort to solve problems. 3. Social conditions. 5. Psychosocial development of the client. 6. Personality of the client. Techniques of social investigation, tools of social investigation, social diagnosis, social treatment. Social casework treatment process. Social casework treatment process. 1. Initial phase. 2. Motivation and role induction. 3. Primary contact. 4. Diagnosis and assessment. 5. Establishing treatment goals. 6. Developing treatment plan. 7. Preparation for actual treatment. 8. Application of treatment methods. Administration of practical services. Indirect treatment. Direct treatment. 9. Monitoring and evaluation. 10. Planning, follow up and the treatment of therapeutic relationship. Principle of casework relationship: individualization, purposeful expression of feelings, controlled emotional involvement, acceptance, the non-judgmental attitude, client self-determination, confidentiality. Constitution of India's provisions: Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1857, Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015, Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929, Education Act 8081, National Child Labor Policy 1987, National Education Policy 1986. Constitutional provisions: Article 21A, right to education. Article 23, prohibition of trafficking in human beings and forced labor. Article 24, prohibition of employment of children in Factory Act. in factory, etc. Article 39 EF, certain principle of policy followed by the state. Article 45 provision for free and compulsory education of child. The United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, ILO Convention related to child labor. Form 6 Rule 10 9 11 2 64 1 64 3 1. Social investigation report for children in conflict with law. Serial number submitted to the Juvenile Justice Board. Address probation officer, voluntary non-government governmental organization, name of the person, FIR number under sections, police station, nature of offense alleged, petty, serious, heinous, one name, two age, date, year of birth, three sex, four caste, five religion, six father's name, seven mother's name, eight guardian's name, nine permanent address, 10 landmark of the address, 11 address of last residence, 12 contact number of father, mother, family member, 13 whether the child is differently abled, yes, no, hearing impairment, hearing impairment, 2 special speech impairment, physical disabled, physically disabled, mentally disabled, other please specify. 14 family details, there would be list of the all family members starting from big to small, serial number, name of the relationship, age, sex, education, occupation, income, health status, history of mental illness if any, addiction if any. If the child or person is married, name, age and detail of spouse and children. 16 relationship among the family members, father and mother, cordial, non cordial, not known, not know. 2 father and child, 3 mother and child, 4 father and siblings, 5 mother and siblings, 6 child and siblings, 7 child and grandparents, paternal, maternal. 17 history of involvement of family members in offenses if any, serial number, relationship, nature of crime, legal status of the case, arrest if any made, a period of confinement, punishment awarded, 1 father, 2 stepfather, 3 mother, 4 stepmother, 5 brother, 6 sister, 7 other uncle, auntie, grandparents. 18 attitude towards religion of a child and family. 19 present living conditions. 20 other factors of importance if any. 21 habits of the child, tick as applicable. A smoking, to alcohol consumption, C A smoking, B alcohol consumption, C drug use specify, D gambling, E begging, F. Any other. G. Watching TV, movies. H. Playing indoor outdoor games. 1. Reading book. I. Reading book. J. Religious activities. K. Drawing, painting, acting, singing. L. Any others. 2. Extra curriculars interests. 3. Outstanding characteristics and personality traits. 22. Child opinion reactions towards discipline in the home. 23. Employment details of the child if any. 24. Details of income utilization and manner of income utilization. 25. Work record. Reason for leaving, vocational interest, attitude towards job or employers. 26. The details of education of the child. 1. Illiterate. 2. Study up to 5th standard. 3. Study above 5th standard. 5 standard but below 8 standard. 6. Study above 8 standard but below 10 standard. 5. Study above 10 standard. 27. Attitude of classmates towards the child. 28. Attitude of teachers and classmates towards the child. 29. The reason for leaving school. Tick yes, no as applicable. 1. Failure in the class last studied. 2. Lack of interest in the school activities. 3. Indifferent attitude of the teachers. 4. Peer group influence. 5. To earn and support the family. 6. Sudden demise of parents. 7. Bullying in school. 8. Rigid school atmosphere. 9. Absenteeism followed by running away from school. 10. There is no age appropriate school nearby. 11. Abuse in school. 12. Humiliation in school. 13. Corporal punishment. 14. Medium of instructions. 15. Other, please specify. 30. The details of school in which studied last. 1. Corporation, municipal, panchayat. 2. Government, SC welfare school, BC welfare school. 3. Private management. 4. School under NCLP. 31. Vocational training if any. 32. Majority of the friends are 1. Educated, 2. Illiterate, 3. The same age group, 4. Older in age, 5. Younger in age, 6. Same sex, 7. Opposite sex, 8. Addicts, 9. With criminal background. 33. Attitude of the child towards friends. 34. Attitude of friends towards the child. 35. Observations of neighbors towards the child. 36. Observations about neighborhood to assess the influence of neighborhood on the child. 37. Whether the child has been subjected to any form of abuse if applicable. Yes, no. Serial number, type of abuse, remarks. 1. One verbal abuse, parents, siblings, employees, others, please specify. 2. Physical abuse, please specify. 3. Sexual abuse, parents, siblings, employers, others, please specify. 4. Others, please specify. 38. Whether the child is a victim of any offense. Yes, no. 39. Whether the child is used by any gangs or adults or group of adults or has been used for drug peddling. Yes, no. 40. Does the child has tendency to run away from home? Give details if any. Yes, no. 41. Circumstances of apprehension of the child. 42. Alleged role of the child in offense. 43. Reason for alleged offense. Parental neglect, parental overprotection, parents' criminal behavior, parents' influence, negative, peer group influence, bad habit to buy drug, alcohol, other. Please specify. 44. Whether the child has been apprehended earlier for any offense. If yes, give details including stay in the child care institutions. Yes, no. 45. Previous institutional case history and individual care plan if any. 46. Physical appearance of the child. 47. Health condition of the child including medical examination report if applicable. 48. Mental condition of the child. 49. Any other remarks. Result of inquiry. 1. Emotional factors. 2. Psychological physical conditions. 3. Intelligence. 4. Social and economic factors. 5. Suggestive cause of the problems. 6. Analysis of the case including reason contributing factors for the offense. 7. Opinion of experts consulted. 8. Recommendation regarding rehabilitation by probation officer, child welfare officer. Signature of the probation officer, child welfare officer, social worker, stamp and seal with where available. Form 7. Rule 13.3, 13.7.6, 13.8.2, 19.4, 19.7, 62.6.7, 62.6.10, 69. 1.3. Individual care plan. Child in conflict with law, child in need of care and protection. Tick whichever is applicable. Name of case worker, child welfare officer, probation officer. Date of preparing the ICP, case profile number of 20, FIR number, under section type of offense applicable in case child in conflict with law. Police station. Address of the board or the committee. Admission number if child is in an institutions. Date of admission if child is in an institution. Stay of the child fill as applicable. Short term up to 6 months. 2. 1 short term up to 6 months. 2 medium terms 6 months to 1 year. 3 long term more than 1 year. A. Personal details to be provided by child parent both on admission of the child in the institutions. 1. Name of the child. 2. Age, date of birth. 3. Sex, male, female. 4. Father's name. 5. Mother's name. 6. Nationality. 7. Religion. 8. Caste. 9. Language spoken. 10. Level of education. 11. Detail of saving accounts of the child if any. 12. Detail of child earnings and belongings if any. 13. Details of awards, rewards received by the child if any. 14. Based on the results of case history, social investigation report and interaction with the child, give details of following areas of concern and interventions required if any. Serial number, category, areas of concern, proposed interventions. 1. Child expectation from care and protection. 2. Health and nutrition needs. 3. Emotional and psychological support needs. 4. Educational and training needs. 5. Leisure, creativity and play. 6. Attachment and interpersonal relationship. 7. Religious belief. 8. Self care and life skill training for protection from all kind of abuse, neglect and maltreatment. Serial number, category, area of concern, personal intervention. 1. Child expectation from care and protection. 2. Health and nutrition needs. 3. Emotional and psychological support needs. 4. Educational and training needs. 5. Leisure, creativity and play. 6. Attachment and interpersonal relationships. 7. Religious beliefs. 8. Self-care and life skill training for protection from all kind of abuse, neglect and maltreatment. 9. Independent living skills. 9. Independent living skills. 10. Any other such as significant experiences which may have impacted the development of the child, like trafficking, domestic violence, parental neglect, bullying in school, etc. Please specify. 10. Any other such as significant experience which may have impacted the development of the child, like trafficking, domestic violence, parental neglect, bullying in school, etc. Please specify. B. Progress of the child to be prepared every fortnight for first 3 months and thereafter to be prepared once a month. Note: use different sheet for progress report. 1. Name of the probation officer, case worker, child welfare officer. 2. Period of the report. 3. Admission number for board or committee. 5. Profile number. 6. Name of the child. 7. Stay of the child, fill as applicable. 1. Short term up to 6 months. 2. Medium term 6 months to 1 year. 3. Long term more than 1 year. 8. Place of interview dates. 9. General conduct and progress of the child during the period of the report. 10. Progress with regard to proposed intervention as mentioned in point 14 of part A of the form. Serial number, category, proposed interventions, progress of the child. 1. Child expectation from care and protection. 2. Health and nutrition needs. 3. Emotional and psychological support need. 4. Educational and training needs. 5. Leisure, creativity and play. 6. Attachment and interpersonal relationships. 7. Religious beliefs. 8. Self-care and life skill training for protection from all kind of abuse, neglect and maltreatment. 9. Independent living skills. 10. Any other such significant experiences which may have impacted the development of the child, like trafficking, domestic violence, parental neglect, bullying in school, etc. Please specify. Serial number, category, proposed interventions, progress of the child. Serial number, category, proposed interventions, progress of the child. Serial number, category, proposed interventions, progress of the child. 1. Child's expectation from care and protection. 2. Health and nutrition needs. 3. Emotional and psychological support need. 4. Educational and training needs. 5. Leisure, creativity and play. 6. 5 leisure creativity and play. 6 attachment and interpersonal relationship. 7 religious belief. 8 self care and life skill training for protection from all kinds of abuse, neglect and maltreatment. 9 independent living skills. 10 any other such as significant experiences which may have impacted the development of the child, like trafficking, domestic violence, parental neglect, bullying in school, etc. Please specify. 11 any proceedings before the committee or board or children's court. 1 variation variation of conditions of bond. 11 any proceeding before the committee or board or children's court. 1 variation of conditions of bond. 2 change of residence of the child. 3 other matters if any. If any. 12 period of supervision completed on result of supervision with the remarks if any. Name and address of the parent or guardian or fit person under whose care the child is to live after the supervision is over. Date of report, signature of the probation officer. C. Pre-release report to be prepared 15 days prior to release. 1 details of place of transfer and authority concerned responsible in the place of transfer release. 2 details of placement of the child in different institutions family. 3 training undergone and skill required. 4 last progress report of the child to be attached, refer part B. 5 rehabilitation and restoration plan of the child to be prepared with reference to progress report of the child. Serial number category rehabilitation plan of the child. 1 a child's expectation from care and protection to health and nutrition. 3 emotional and psychological. 4 educational and training. 5 leisure creativity and play. 6 attachment and interpersonal relationship. 7 religious beliefs. 8 self care and life skill training for protection from all kind of abuse, neglected and maltreatment. 9 independent living skills. 10 any other. 6 date of release, transfer, repatriation. 7 requisition for escort if required. 8 identification proof of escort such as driving license, Aadhaar card, etc. 9 recommended rehabilitation plan including possible placements, sponsorships. For details of probation officers, non-governmental governmental organizations for post release follow-up. 11 memorandum of understanding with non-governmental organization identified for post release follow-up, attached a copy. 12 details of sponsorship agency, individual sponsor if any. 13 memorandum of understanding between the sponsorship agency and individual sponsor, attached copy. 14 medical examination report before release. 15 any other information. D post release restoration report of the child. 1 status of bank account closed, transferred. 2 earnings and belongings of the child handed over to the child or his parents, guardians, yes, no. 3 first interaction report of the probation officer, child welfare officer, case worker, social worker, non governmental organization, identified for follow-up of the child post-release for progress made with reference to rehabilitation and restoration plan. 5 family behavior attitude towards the child. 6 social milieu of the child. milieu of the child, particularly attitude of neighbors community. 6 social milieu of the child, particularly attitude of neighbors community. 7 how is the child using the skill acquired. 8 whether the child has been admitted to a school or a vocation. Give date and name of the school, institutions, any other agency. Yes, no. 9 report of second and third follow-up interaction with the child after 2 months and 6 months respectively. 10 efforts towards social mainstreaming and child's opinion view about it. 11 identity card and compensation. 11 identity cards and compensation. Identity cards, parents status, please tick whichever is applicable. Action taken. Yes, no. Birth certificate, school certificate, caste certificate, BPL card, disability certificate, immunization card, ration card, Aadhaar card, received compensation from government. Signature of the probation officer, child welfare officer, stamp and seal where applicable. Form 8 rule 11(6). Undertaking bond to be executed by a parent, guardian, fit person in whose care a child in conflict with law is placed. Where I, being a parent, guardian, relative of or fit person under whose care name of the child has been ordered to be placed by the Juvenile Justice Board, having been directed by the said board to execute an undertaking bond with surety in the sum raised rupees or without surety, I hereby bind myself to be responsible for the good behavior and well-being of the said, and to observe the following condition for a period of years with effect from 1. That I shall not change my place of residence without giving a previous intimation in writing to Juvenile Justice Board through the probation officer. 2. That I shall not remove the said child from the limits of the jurisdiction of the Juvenile Justice Board without previously obtaining the written permission of the board. 3. That I shall send the said child daily to school to such vocation as is approved by the board unless prevented from so doing by circumstances beyond control. 4. That I shall sincerely give effect to the individual care plan with the help of the probation officer. 5. That I shall report immediately to board whenever so required by it, and also produce the child before the board as and when directed to do so. 6. That I shall produce the said child in my care before the board if she does not follow the order of the board, or her behavior is beyond my control. 7. That I shall report to the board if the child goes out of my control or charge. 8. That I shall render all necessary assistance to the probation officer to enable him to carry out the duties of supervision. In the event of my making default herein, I undertake to appear before the board and bind myself to pay to government the sum raised rupees dated this day of 2020, signature of person executing the undertaking, bond signature before me, principal magistrate, member, juvenile justice board. Additional condition, if any, by the juvenile justice board, may be entered, numbering them properly, where a bond with sureties is to executed at IV of place of residence with full particulars, hereby declare myself ourselves as sureties for the aforesaid name of the person executing the undertaking, bond to adhere to the terms and condition of this undertaking, bond in case of name of the person executing the bond making fault therein. We hereby bind myself ourselves jointly or severely to forfeit to the government the sum of raised rupees details dated this the day of 20 in the presence of signature of sureties, signature before me, principal magistrate, member, juvenile justice board, form 9, rule 11, as personal bond by child, where I inhabitants of give full particulars such as house number, road, village, town, tehsil, district, state, have been ordered to be sent back, restored by the Juvenile Justice Board under section of the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 on my entering into personal bond to observe the conditions mentioned herein below. Now therefore I do solemnly promise to abide by these conditions during the period. I hereby bind myself as following. 1. The during of period I shall not ordinarily leave the village, town, district to which I am sent, and shall not ordinarily return to or go anywhere else beyond the said district without the prior permission of the board. That 2. The during the said period I shall attend school, vocational training in the village, town, or in the said district to which I am sent. 3. That in case of attending attending school, vocational training at any other place in the said district, I shall keep the board informed of my ordinary place of residence. I hereby acknowledge that I am aware of the above conditions which I have been read over, explained to me, and I accept the same. Signature of thumb impression of the child. Signature or thumb impression of the child. certified that the condition specified in the above order have been read over, explained to name of the child, and that he has accepted term as the conditions upon non compliance of which he she may be placed in safe custody. Clarified during that the said child has been relieved on date, signature, principal magistrate member, Juvenile Justice Board. Form 10, Rule 11(9) and 64(3) 13. Periodic report by probation officer when a child is released on probation. FIR number, police station under section in the matter of verses where name of the child age has on date been found to be a child in conflict with law and has been placed under the care of parent, guardian, fit facility, and under the supervision of name of the probation officer. Registration number, name, education, next court date, age approximately, sex male, female, age approximately, father name, registration number, age approximately, sex male, female, name, father name, religion, education, vocational training if any, languages spoken, next court date, employment if any, date of admission in case of fit person, fit facility. Registration number, name, education, next court date, age approximately, father name, vocational training if any, employment if any, sex male, female, religion, languages is known, date of admission in case of fit person, fit facility. Case detail and summary. 1. Preliminary details. 1. Visit date. 2. Name of parent, guardian. 3. Name of other adults living in the home and when with whom the probation officer interacted. 2. Observation. 1. Child behaviors. 2. Physical and mental health status, needs of the child and family. 3. Interpersonal relationship of the child with the family. 4. Interpersonal relationship with the friends. 5. Safety and supervision in the family. 6. Difficulties faced 6. Difficulties faced by the child. 7. Difficulties faced by the family. 8. Changes in the household. 9. Vocational training, if any, being undertaken by the child. 10. Engagement of child in any antisocial activities or harmful activities. Example could be exhibiting bullying behavior, violent outburst, destruction, self-harm, laying, defiance, impulsiveness, lack of empathy, sexually deviant action, etc. 10. Engagement of child in any anti social activities or harmful activities. Examples could be exhibiting bullying behavior, violent outburst, destruction, self-harm, laying, defiance, impulsiveness, lack of empathy, sexually deviant actions, etc. 10. Engagement of child in any antisocial activities or harmful activities. Examples could be exhibiting bullying behavior, violent outbursts, destruction, self-harm, laying, defiance, impulsiveness, lack of empathy, sexually deviant actions, etc. 11. The elapsed since last engagement in any antisocial behavior or harmful activities. Time elapsed since last engagement in the antisocial behavior or harmful activities. Visit of school vocational training centers. 1. Name of the school centers. 2. Name of the teacher, principal, mate. 3. Any unusual behavior observed. 4. Feedback received on the progress of the child. 5. Attitude of the peers towards the child. 6. Attitude of the child towards the peers. Visit of employment. Visit to place of employment. 1. Nature of work. 2. Working hours. 3. Attitude of child towards work. 4. Violation of any labor law. Wages or wages being withheld if observe an action taken against employer. Did you spend time speaking privately with the child? Yes, no. If no, give reasons. Progress made as per rehabilitation and restoration plan under the individual care plan. Refer point 14 of Form 7. Recommendation for modification in rehabilitation and restoration plan under the individual care plan, if any, prepared by probation officer. Date plan, date of next visit, action point, if any, signature probation officer. Contents: the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015, Chapter 1 Preliminary 1 to 2. 1. So title, extent, commencement and application. 2. Definition. Chapter 2 General Principles of Care and Protection of Children. 3 General Principles to be followed in administration of Act. 3 Juvenile Justice Board 4 to 9. 4. Juvenile Justice Board. 5. Placement of person who ceased to be child during process of inquiry. 6. Placement of persons who committed an offence when person was below the age of 18 years. 7. Procedure in relation to board. 8. Powers, functions and responsibilities of the board. 9. Procedure to be followed by magistrate who has not been empowered under this act. 4. Procedure in relation to children in conflict with law. 10 to 26. 10. Apprehension of child alleged to be in conflict with law. 11. Role of person in whose charge child in conflict with law is placed. 12. Bail to a person who is apparently a child alleged to be in conflict with law. 13. Information to parents, guardian or probation officer. 14. Inquiry by board regarding child in conflict with law. 15. Preliminary assessment into heinous offence by board. 16. Review of pendency of inquiry. 17. Orders regarding child child not found to be in conflict with law. 18. Orders regarding child found to be in conflict with law. 19. Powers of children's court. 20. Child attained age of 21 years and yet to complete prescribed term of stay in place of safety. 21. Order that may not be passed against a child in conflict with law. 22. Proceeding under Chapter 8 of the Code of Criminal Procedure not to apply against child. 23. No joint proceedings of child in conflict with law and person not a child. 24. Removal of disqualification on the findings of an offence. 25. Special provision in respect of pending cases. 26. Provision with respect of runaway child in conflict with law. 5 Child Welfare Committee 27 to 30, 27 Child Welfare Committee, 28 Procedure in relation to committee, 29 Powers of committee, 30 functions and responsibilities of committee, 6 procedure in relation to children in need of care and protection, 31 to 38, 31 production before committee, 32 mandatory reporting regarding a child found separated from guardian, 33 offense of non-reporting, 34 penalty for non-reporting, 35 surrender of children, 36 inquiry, 37 orders passed regarding a child in need of care and protection, 38 procedure for declaring a child legally free for adoption, 7 rehabilitation and social reintegration, 39 to 55, 39 process of rehabilitation and social reintegration, 40 restoration of child in need of care and protection, 40 restoration of child in need of care and protection, 41 registration of child care institutions, 42 penalty for non-registration of child care institutions, 43 open shelter, 44 foster care, 45 sponsorship, 46 aftercare of children leaving child care institution, 47 observation homes, 48 special homes, 49 place of safety, 50 children's home, 51 fit facility, 52 fit person, 53 rehabilitation and reintegration services in institutions registered under this act and management thereof, 54 inspection of institutions registered under this act, 55 evaluation of functioning of structures, 8 adoption, 56 to 73, 56 adoption, 57 eligibility of prospective adoptive parents, 57 eligibility of prospective 56 adoption, 57 eligibility of prospective adoptive parents, 58 procedure for adoption by Indian prospective adoptive parents living in India, 59 procedure for inter-country adoption of an orphan or abandoned or surrendered child, 60 procedure for inter-country relative adoption, 61 court procedure and penalty against payment in consideration of adoption, 62 additional procedural requirement and documentation, 63 effect of adoption, 64 reporting of adoption, 65 specialized adoption agencies, 66 adoption of children residing in institutions not registered as adoption agencies, 67 state adoption resource agencies, 68 central adoption resource authority, 69 steering committee of authority, 70 powers of authority, 71 annual report of authority, 72 grants by central government, 73 accounts and audit of authority, 9 other offenses against children, 74 to 89, 74 prohibition on disclosure of identity of children, 75 punishment for cruelty to child, 76 employment of child for begging, 77 penalty for giving intoxicating liquor or narcotic drug or psychotropic substance to a child, 78 using a child for vending, peddling, carrying, supplying or smuggling any intoxicating liquor or narcotic drug or psychotropic substance, 79 exploitation of a child, employs 80 punitive measures for adoption without following prescribed procedures, 81 sale and procurement of child for any purpose, 82 corporal punishment, 83 use of child by militant groups or other adults, 84 kidnapping and abduction of child, 85 offenses committed on disabled children, 86 classification of offenses and designated court, 87 abatement, 88 alternative punishment, 89 offenses committed by child under this chapter, 10 miscellaneous, 90 to 112, 90 attendance of parent or guardian of child, 91 dispensing with attendance of child, 92 placement of a child suffering from disease requiring prolonged medical treatment in an approved place, 93 transfer of child who is mentally ill or addicted to alcohol or other drugs, 94 presumption and determination of age, 95 transfer of a child to a place of residence. 96 transfer of child between children's homes or special homes or fit facility or fit person in different parts of India. 97 release of a child from an institution. 98 leave of absence to a child placed in an institution. 99 reports to be treated as confidential. 100 protection of action taken in good faith. 101 appeals. 102 revision. 103 procedure in inquiries, appeals and revision proceedings. 104 power of the committee or the board to amend its own orders. 105 juvenile justice fund. 106 state child protection society and district child protection unit. 107 child welfare police officer and special juvenile police unit. 108 public awareness on provisions of act. 109 monitoring of implementation of act. 110 power of the power to make rules. 111 repeal and savings. 112 power to remove difficulties. The Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Model Rules 2016. Chapter 1 Preliminary. 1 Short Title and Commencement. 2 Definition. Chapter 2 Juvenile Justice Board. 3 Board. 4 Composition of the Board. 5 Term of members of the board. 6 sitting of the board. 7 functions of the board. Procedure. Chapter 3 Procedure in relation to children in conflict with law. 8 Pre-production action of police and other agencies. 9 Protection of child alleged to be in conflict with law before the board. 10 Post-production process by the board. 10A Preliminary assessment into heinous offenses by board. 11 Completion of inquiry. 12 Pendency of inquiry. 13 Procedure in relation to children's court and monitoring authorities. 14 Destructions of records. Chapter 5 Child Welfare Committee. 15 Composition and qualification of members of the committee. 16 Rules and procedures of committee. 17 Additional functions and responsibilities of the committee. Chapter 5 Procedure in relation to children in need of care and protection. 18 procedure before the committee. 19 procedure for inquiry. 50 pendency of cases. Chapter 6 Rehabilitation and social reintegration. 21 manner of registration of childcare institutions. 21 manner of registration of childcare institution. 22 open shelter. 23 foster care. 24 sponsorship. 25 aftercare children living institutional care. 26 management and monitoring of childcare institutions. 27 fit facility. 28 fit person. 29 physical infrastructure. 30 clothing, bedding, toiletries and other articles. 31 sanitation and hygiene. 32 daily routine. 33 nutrition and diet scale. 34 medical care. 35 mental health. 36 education. 37 vocational training. 38 recreational facility. 39 management committee. 40 children's committee. 41 inspection. 42 evaluation. Chapter 7 Adoption. 43 Adoption related reporting. 44 Children who are not being adopted after being declared legally free for adoption may be eligible for foster care. 45 Procedure before the court. 46 Period for disposal of application. 47 Special provisions for protection of adopted children. 48 Linkage of child care institutions to specialized adoption agencies. 49 Additional functions of the authority. 50 Terms and conditions of appointment of members of the steering committee of the authority. 51 Transaction of business of the steering committee of the authority. 52 annual report of the authority. 53 account and audit of authority. Chapter 8 offenses against children. 54 procedure in case of offenses against children. 108. 55 procedure in case of offenses under section 75 of the act. 56 procedure in case of offense under section 77 of the act. 57 procedure in case of offense under section 78 of the act. 58 procedure in case of offense under section 80 of the act. 59 procedure in case of offense under section 81 of the act. 60 procedure in case of under section 82 of the act. Chapter 10 miscellaneous. 61 duties of probation officer in charge of the child care institutions. 61 duties of the person in charge of a child care institution. 61 duties of the person in charge of the child care institution. 62 duties of case a child welfare officer or case worker. 63 duties of house mother or house father. 64 duties of a probation officer. 65 rehabilitation placement officer. 66 staff discipline. 67 security measures. 68 searches and seizures. 69 institutional management of children. 70 prohibited articles. 71 articles found on search of inspection. 72 disposal of articles. 73 maintenance of case file. 74 visits to and communication with children. 75 death of a child. 76 abuse and exploitation of the child. 77 maintenance of registers. 78 openness and transparency. 79 release of a child from a childcare institution. 80 child suffering from disease requiring prolonged medical treatment in an approved place and transfer of a child who is mentally ill or addicted to alcohol or other drugs. 81 transfer of child. 82 restoration and follow up. 83 juvenile justice fund. 84 state child protection society. 85 district child protection unit. 86 special juvenile police unit. 87 selection committee and its composition. 88 selection of chairperson and members of the committee or board. 89 training of personnel dealing with children. 90 pending cases. 91 monitoring by National Commission for Protection of Child Rights and State Commission for Protection of Child Rights. 92 inquiry in case of missing child. 93 non-compliance of the act and the rules. 94 repeal form 1 social background report. Form 2 undertaking by the parent or guardian or fit person given interim custody pending inquiry. Form 3 supervision order. Form 4 order of placing a child in child care institution pending inquiry. Form 5 order for social investigation report. Form 6 social investigation report from child in conflict with law. Social investigation report for children in conflict with law. Form 7 individual care plan. Form 8 undertaking bond to be executed by a parent guardian fit person in whose care a child in conflict with law is placed. Form 9 personal bond by child. Form 10 periodic report by probation officer when a child is released on probation. Form 11 case monitoring sheet. Form 12 quarterly report by juvenile justice board. Form 13 periodic review of a child in place of safety. Form 14 rehabilitation card. Form 15. Case summary maintained by the Child Welfare Committee. Form 16. Quarterly report by Child Welfare Committee. Form 17. Report to be submitted at the time of production. Form 18. Order of placement of a child in an institution. Form 19. Order for placement of child under the care of a parent, guardian, or a fit person pending inquiry. Form 20. Undertaking by the parent or guardian or a fit person. Form 21. Order for social investigation report of child in need of care and protection. Form 22. Social investigation report of child in need of care and protection. Form 23. Application for surrender of child. Form 24. Deed of surrender. Form 25. Certificate declaring the child legally free for adoption. Form 26. Case monitoring sheet or for committee. Form 26. Case monitoring sheet for committee. 27. Application for registration of child care institution under the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. Form 28. Certificate for registration under section 41 of the JJ Act. Form 29. Monthly report submitted by open shelter to DCPU. Form 30. Home study report for protective foster parents. Form 30. Home study report for prospective foster parents. 30. Home study report for prospective foster parents. Form 31. Child study report. Form 32. Order for foster care placement with family or group foster care. Form 33. Undertaking by the foster family group foster care organization. Form 34. Record of a child in foster care. Form 35. Monthly inspection of foster families group foster care. Form 36. Order of sponsorship placement. Form 37. Order of aftercare placement. Form 38. Application for fit facility including group foster care. Form 39. Certificate for recognition of fit facility including group foster care. Form 40. List of children submitted by CCI to board or committee weekly. Form 41. Protective custody card. Form 42. Overwriting protective stay overnight. Form 42. Overnight protective stay. Form 43. Case history of the child. Form 44. Release cum restoration order. Form 45. Escort order. Form 46. Inspection by inspection committee. Adoption Regulation 2017 Chapter 1 Preliminary. Once title and commencement. 2. Definitions. 3. Fundamental principles governing adoption for a child eligible for adoption. 5. Eligibility criteria for prospective adoptive parents. Chapter 2. Procedure relating to children for adoption. Procedure relating to children for adoption. 6. Procedure relating to orphan or abandoned child. 7. Procedure relating to surrender child. 8. Availability of child for adoption. Chapter 3. Adoption procedure for resident Indians. 9. Rehabilitation. 9. Registration of home study of the prospective adoptive parents. 9. Registration and home study of the prospective adoptive parents. 10. Referral of a child from specialized adoption agencies through child adoption resource information and guidance system. to prospective adoptive parents. 10 referral of a child from a specialized adoption agency. 10 referral of a child from a specialized adoption agency through child adoption resource information and guidance system to prospective adoptive parents. 11 pre-adoption foster care. 12 legal procedure. 13 follow-up progress of adopted children. 10 follow-up progress of adopted child. Chapter 4 Adoption Procedure for Non-Resident Indian Overseas Citizen of India and Foreign Prospective Adoptive Parents. 14 Non-Resident Indian to be treated at par with resident Indian. 15 Registration and home study report for prospective adoptive parents for inter-country adoption. 16 No objection certificate of authority and pre-adoption foster care. 17 Legal procedure. 18 passport and visa information to immigration authority. Conformity certificates, birth certificate, etc. 19 follow up of progress of adoptive child by non-resident Indian overseas citizen of India and foreign prospective adoptive parents. 20 adoption by overseas citizen of India or foreign and national of a Hague adoption convention ratified countries living in India. 21 adoption procedure in case of overseas citizen of India or foreign national of Hague adoption convention ratified countries living in India. 22 procedure for adoption of a child from a foreign country by Indian citizens. Chapter 5 Recognition, inspection and function of adoption agencies. 22 Recognition of specialized adoption agencies. 24 criteria and procedure for renewal of recognition of specialized adoption agencies. 25 supervision or revocation of recognition of specialized adoption agency. 26 inspection of specialized adoption agencies. 27 entitlement to grants under other governmental notified schemes. 28 agencies to maintain accounts. 29 functions of specialized adoption agencies. 30 functions of authorized foreign adoption agencies. 31 criteria and procedure for authorization of foreign agencies. 32 supervision or revocation of authorization. Chapter 6 Functions of government organizations and authority. 33 Role of state government and state adoption resource agency. 34 District Child Protection Unit. 35 Child Welfare Committee. 36 Birth certificate issuing authority. 37 Central Adoption Resource Authorities. 38 Regional Passport Officer. 39 Foreigner Regional Registration Office. 39 Foreigner Regional Registration Office. 40 Role of Indian diplomatic missions in inter-country adoption. Chapter 7 Miscellaneous Provisions. 41 Seniority of the prospective adoptive parents. 42 Adoption by Indian parents residing in countries which are not signatory to Hague Adoption Convention. 43 Adherence to timeline. 44 Root search. 45 Confidentiality of adoption records. 46 adoption fees. 47 reporting of adoptions by specialized adoption agencies. 48 adoption of children with special needs. 49 adoption of older children and siblings. 50 adoption of hard to place children. 51 in country relative adoption. 52 adoption by step parents. 53 inter-country relative adoptions. 54 prior approval for inter-country relative adoption from authority. 55 legal procedure. 56 no objection certificate of authority. 57 issue of conformity certificate. 58 child care institutions and its linkage with specialized adoption agency. 59 appeal to authority. 60 to power to relax and interpretation. Schedule 1 certificate declaring the child legally free for adoption. Schedule 2 child study report. Schedule 3 medical examination report of the child. Schedule 4 medical test for children admitted into institutions. Schedule 5 deed of surrender. Schedule 6 on online register form and list of documents to be uploaded. Schedule 7 home study report of resident Indians, parent overseas citizens of India, foreigner living in India. Schedule 8 pre-adoption foster care undertaking. Schedule 9 list of attached noted documents, notarized documents. Schedule 9 list of attested notarized documents. Schedule 10 no objection certificate. Schedule 11 conformity certificate. Schedule 12 post placement report of the child. Schedule 8 standards of child care in specialized adoption agencies. Schedule 13 standards of child care. Schedule 13 standards of child care in specialized adoption agencies. Schedule 14 timeline for authorities concerned and agencies. Schedule 15 format for quarterly reporting of adoption data by specialized adoption agencies. Schedule 16 monthly report of the Child Welfare Committee CWC to the State Adoption Resource Agency and Central Adoption Resource Authority. Schedule 17 format for reporting of adoption cases. Schedule 18 classification of special needs children for the purpose of adoption. Schedule 19 consent for the purpose of relative adoption. Schedule 20 consent for biological parents along with step parents to obtain the permission of child welfare committee or adoption of children by biological parent and the step parent. Schedule 21 family background report of the child and the biological parents in case of inter-country relative adoption. Schedule 22 permission by child welfare committee to the to the consent given by the guardian of the child for adoption by his her relative where biological parents are not alive, not able to give consent. Schedule Schedule 23 affidavit by the a chief functionary authorized person of the specialized adoption agency to quote in support of adoption of child. Schedule and 24 affidavit of prospective adoptive parents in case of in country relative adoption in support of their relationship, financial and social status as per sub regulation 4 of regulation 5. Schedule 25 format for inspection of specialized adoption agencies. Schedule 26 application form application from a child care institution for recognition as per as a specialized adoption agency. Schedule 27 format of minutes of the adoption committee in case of inter-country adoption. Schedule 27 format of minutes of the adoption committee in a case of inter-country adoption. Schedule 28 model application in case of orphan or abandoned or surrendered children to court for in-country adoption. Schedule 29 model application in case of orphan or abandoned or surrendered children to court for inter-country adoption. Schedule 30 model application to court for an inter-country relative adoption. Schedule 31 model application to court for inter-country relative adoption. Schedule 32 model application to court for adoption of children by step or biological parent. Honorary Secretary Prayas. The following pages represents the committee's effort to present in a comprehensive manner the suggestions recommendation of the workshop. Due care has been taken in this exercise to avoid repetition and ensure that all possible viewpoints find their rightful place. Suggestion recommendation made during the workshop. 1. Neglected children juvenile definition and scope. The legal definition of the term neglected juvenile as given under section 2(1) of the Juvenile Justice Act 1986 was generally considered to be wide enough, covering various categories of children in need of help, care and protection through governmental and non-governmental support. 2. Estimation of neglected children and categories requiring prioritization 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 priority prioritization prioritization. The following broad categories of neglected children were recognized as requiring prioritization. A. Children based or exploited or children abused or exploited or likely to be abused or exploited. Covers children found begging, living in a red light area and subjected to immoral traffic for used for illegal purpose and or unconscionable 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 gain under conditions of illicit dis- distil- dis- distillation alcoholism, drug abuse, smuggling, crime, etc. Illicit distillation, illicit distillation, alcoholism, drug abuse, smuggling, crimes, etc. P. Orphan, abandoned, or destitute children. C. Children who are without home or shelter. C. Children who are without homes or settled abode and without ostensible means of substances includes street children on the basis of the definition adopted by UNICEF. Two more subcategories were added. These are: 1. Children on the street in regular contact with families, and 2. Children who seek the street as place of shelter and livelihood but having only occasional contact with their families. The children of the prostitute, devadasis, yogins, Bika tribe. E. Children for beggars. Children of beggars. E. Children of beggars. F. The working children placed in hazardous conditions. This category incorporates children employed in the matchbox cracker manufacturing factories at Sivkasi, glass bangles and other glassware making factories at Firozabad, railways and plantations. G. Children suffering from protracted illness. Protracted illness. G. Children suffering from protracted illness or having physical and mental handicaps, including children who need special services for medical care, psychological support, education, and rehabilitation. H. Runaway child who are untraceable and lost to their families and homes and who cannot be restored to their parents or guardians. I. Vagrant, delinquent, delinquent, and uncontrollable children. J. Children without parents or homes and also having suffered from some calamities or crisis which render them in especially difficult circumstances. K. Children working as domestic servants in dhabas or other roadside small establishments for small daily wages. L. Child labor in the unorganized sector. M. Child labor in the organized sector and emotionally and psychologically deprived children or suffering from ill treatment, including unsatisfactory home environment, and O. Other children in need of care and protection. Based on the grouping listed above, it was recommended that the government at the central, state, and union territory levels may attempt to estimate the number of children falling in each category. Secondly, there was a need of prioritize prioritize priority prior, prioritize 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 the more disadvantaged ones for urgent attention vis-a-vis the formulation of policies and programs. Prior Prioritization was also considered necessary for the purpose of developing appropriate governmental and non-governmental strategies and projects within a specific time manner. 3. Establishment of juvenile welfare board and children's home in all states and union territories UTs on priority basis and for formalization of their association with NGOs and social workers. The group recommended that juvenile welfare board and children's homes must be established in all states and union territories UTs without any delay. Only such children may be brought within the purview of the law who realistically need protection of the law. It was regarded useful to prepare some estimates about the extent of such coverage under the juvenile justice system. The board may also be directed to provide the list of persons and organization of the production of neglected juvenile before them. Further, NGOs and social workers should be formally associated with these bodies through institutionalized arrangements. For preparation of roster for NGOs and social workers to be designated as fit institutions and fit persons under the JJ Act. As far as possible, neglected children should be dealt with thorough non-statutory and non-governmental organizations and welfare measures. The state government and the union territory administration may prepare list of voluntary organizations and a school of social work with whose assistance suitable and willing social workers may be designated as fit institutions and fit persons to deal with neglected children as provided under the JJ Act 1986. These lists should be prepared city, area, district wise in consultation with CSWB and the State Welfare Advisory Board. 5. Need for training reorientation of the personnel under the juvenile justice system and the NGO staffs. It was unanimously una- unanimously felt that the institutional framework of JJ Act was utterly inadequate in terms of the numbers, resources, and the manner in which the children were handled by the staff of such institution. Therefore, regular and systematic training program should be organized for persons working in the juvenile welfare boards juvenile courts, various homes and aftercare institutions, as well as for the officers involved in the welfare of neglected children at the block, town, district, and city levels. Further orientation and training should also be organized for the staff and other functionaries of voluntary organizations working in this field. 6. Necessity of maintaining minimum standards of all institutions provided under juvenile legislation. The provision of the orphans and charitable homes Supervision and Control Act in 1960 come up from discussion, and it was felt that the provisions were required to be effectively enforced and implemented by the state and union territory governments. It was also recommended that the minimum standards were required to be maintained in all residential institutions for the children in need of care and protection. 7. CSWB to assume a positive interventionist interven, uh, interventionist interventionist role in implementation of JJ Act to generate, promote and develop effective implementation of JJ Act 1986. The CSWB had assumed a nodal responsibility in keeping with its charter of functions as the apex body of dealing with NGOs. CSWB should be accorded a positive interventionist role in the implementation of the law. 8. Need to form a committee to review the provisions of JJ Act. Various provisions of Juvenile Justice Act 1986, particularly those relating to the definition of the neglected juvenile and the institutional framework laid down under the law, were discussed and found to be inadequate. It was recommended that for the purpose of reviewing the provisions of this act, a small committee of policy planners, experts, and NGOs representative may be constituted and requested to submit its recommendation for amendments to the act. 9. Need for a common adoption law. It was generally felt that the orphans and the abandoned children may be best taken care of within the family and home. It is hence recommended that a common adoption law may be enacted to facilitate such children being rehabilitated through placements with a family of various communities. 10. Mobilization of the community at large, social workers, NGOs, and the government to pool all available resources and evolve a common strategy. The group unanimously voiced that A. The existing institutional approach was inadequate, and B. Neglected children could not and should not be looked after by the state alone. Voluntary organizations and social workers therefore had to play a key role to mobilize community resources to cater their own institutional framework for the welfare of the children. It was also crucial for the government, NGOs, and social workers to join hands for pooling their resources and evolving a common strategy. 11. Establishment of networking and coordination between government, NGOs, schools, and social work, other professional organization, and social workers, while emphasizing the need for networking amongst various components of the juvenile justice system and non-governmental organization. It was overwhelmingly overwhel- overwhelmingly felt that the efforts made by various ministries and departments of the government, the state of the union, felt that the efforts made by the various ministries and departments of the government, the state and union UT administration, NGOs, and social workers were at best disjointed, at best disjointed and often at variance. The workshop felt deeply concerned over the ongoing lack of coordination and the virtual non utilization of the existing meagre resources at all levels, and the operational problems in rectifying the situation. In this regard, it was also felt that government should take the lead to encourage NGOs and the other participants to come together to share their experiences, thus forming uh, basis the basis of networking and coordination in the time to come. A beginning could be made by initiating program for neglected children in different categories by involving various NGOs, national service schemes, national cadet cadet national cadet corps, scouts and guides, and volunteers from the socially useful productive work units from schools. 12. Streamlining urban basic services and linking existing resources. The group recommended that the program of urban basic services should be so streamlined as to be advantages and neglected children advantages to neglected children. Night shelters, community centers, etc. in the cities may also made available during the day to NGOs to conduct program of education, vocational training, health, and nutrition. 13. Establishment of working group, other bodies to promote coordination. The absence of appropriate linkages at various levels between the state, union, UTs, government, various departments, juvenile welfare boards, and voluntary organizations was unanimously recognized. Therefore, it was recommended that working group may be set up at the local, district, state, and union territory headquarters levels to promote interdepartmental coordination with the NGOs further. A coordination committee may also be set up at the district and city levels to ensure closure interaction between juvenile welfare board, functionaries of the civic administration, NGOs, social worker, and citizen councils to the local area block level to grassroots coordination. The need to include grassroots level workers in such working groups was emphasized. It was clarified that such workers, while deeply knowledgeable and committed to their work, face some inhibitations in presenting their viewpoint in formal meeting. Therefore, it was emphasized that care must be taken to involve them and encourage their active participation so that their experiences could be gainfully utilized by all concerned. 14. Identification of specific groups and programs developed being implemented for each group. A majority of the participants felt that the strategies for care, welfare, and rehabilitation of neglected children needed to be different for different target groups and situations. Therefore, it was recommended that the government, NGOs, and social workers should identify the group being attended by them and the programs development for their welfare and rehabilitation. It was also agreed that that different strategies, policies, and programs were required to be drawn up for children in different sectors, metropolitan cities, small towns, village, and child labor in the unorganized and organized sectors, etc. They should subsequently be prioritize according to their specific needs. It was suggested in this regard to hold workshop where representatives from different sectors could have in-depth discussion to work out the role they could play in coping with this problem. The group unanimously agreed that there was a need to devise tailor-made curricula for various categories of neglected children. While preparing detailed curricula, it was felt necessary to develop special modules and curricula for various types of institutions. Opening in different areas, sectors, and for different target groups. Attention was also required to be paid to the psychosociological factors affecting the children. The approach in framing the curriculum should be developmental, focused on health, education, and vocational training, and preventive in nature, and got greed geared only to welfare nature and not geared only to welfare. 15. Development of national policy concerning neglected children. The participants expressed serious concern at the lack of coherence in the effectively tackling the massive problem of neglected children. They also felt that to a very significant extent. It was due to the absence of a comprehensive national policy. In this context, the group stressed the need to have periodic review, monitoring, and evaluation of the work undertaken at the local and the state levels, including the deliberation at the national policy formulation level. The findings of ongoing monitoring, research, evaluation, sharing of experiences, and expertise could be utilized to develop an appropriate policy for coping with this problem. 16. Establishment of a national forum on neglected children. It was also recommended that the Ministry of Welfare Government of India may take the initiative to set up national forum on neglected children comprising representatives of leading NGOs in the country, experts, academicians, and concerned ministries, department, and agencies in the central and state government governments, beside serving as the forum for of idea exchange exchange of ideas and information. This apex body would sensitize view of all concerned and advise and assist the government in formulating policies. To guide the working of the national forum, a steering committee may be constituted in the Ministry of Welfare with not more than 25 members, comprising representative of NGOs, concerned ministries and departments, namely welfare, labor, health, urban development, women's welfare, education, youth affairs, and rural development, and nodal agencies like CSWB, NISD, NIP, CCD, ICCW, National Labour Institutes, besides experts, academicians, particularly from the School of Social Work, and public spirited individuals working in the field. 17. Creation of a national fund to promote and develop programs for the care, protection, and rehabilitation of neglected children. The existing resources and allocation for neglected children were reviewed as being woeful, inadequate. Clearly, very substantial resources, both governmental and non-governmental, were needed to be mobilized to meet the objectives. Example, welfare of neglected children. It was therefore recommended that the central government may create a separate national fund to assist in and develop program for the care, protection, and rehabilitation of neglected children. Resources for this fund would be raised through governmental and non-governmental sources. This fund would be placed at the disposal of the steering committee of the national forum to be utilized for promoting the activities, programs, and projects focused on the identification, protection, care, education, vocational training, and rehabilitation of the neglected children, beside evaluation and monitoring of the added programs. To raise resources for such a fund, the government may consider adopting innovative measures like levying surcharge on the state on the sale and or purchase of property in urban areas, surcharge on market fees, and contribution by private citizens, and donation from companies which may attract income tax exemption. Allocations from this fund may be utilized for NGOs as per the guidelines formulated by the steering committee of the forum. A system for ongoing review, evaluation, and monitoring may be evaluated, evolve at the central level by the evolution group comprising the ministry and NGOs, which would also assess the work done and make recommendation about funding. 18. Development of a newsletter as a vehicle of exchange of information and sharing of experiences. The member unanimously agreed that the government, NGOs, social workers, academicians working on the problems of neglected children, and other concerns agencies did not have any mechanism for the dissemination of information and sharing of ideas and experiences to serve as the vehicle of such activities. A regular newsletter may be published from Delhi with financial assistance from the Ministry of Welfare. The newsletter would be also consolidate relevant information regarding ongoing programs and activities in the field. 19. Use of mass media to generate public awareness. Television, radio, newspaper, and various other mass media should be effectively utilized to inform people about the existing condition of neglected children, to generate public awareness and consciousness, and popularizing various methods for effective community participation. The media should also focus attention of the policy planners, administrators, academicians, experts, and member of the spirited spirited public. 20. Need to encourage, support, and promote the formation of voluntary organizations, since NGOs and social workers were viewed as the most effective means of dealing with the problems. It was recommended that the government organization and officials should act mainly as a catalyst in these bodies. Further, wherever voluntary organizations have taken roots, these should be adequately supported and encouraged by the government. In various places where such organizations do not exist, the government should take positive steps to encourage their formation. Priority should be given to the rural sector and small towns, and to group of children faced with their imminent danger to their survival and well-being. 21. Institutions of special schemes Institution of special schemes incorporating education, health, and nutrition program for child labor. A majority of the participants felt that appropriate schemes must be developed at or near the place where juvenile were employed, while focusing on the education, vocational training, and development of social awareness amongst the children. These schemes should also have built-in provisions for supplementary nutrition, sustenance of good health, and productive occupational for the children. 22 children living in a red light area requiring immediate action. As a follow up to the Supreme Court directives, and as a sequel to the CSWB sponsored studies conducted in six metropolitan centers. These children should be considered as a special uh, category in need of immediate attention. 23. Compliance of a compliance of a national directory given particularly to various governmental and non-governmental organizations and services, and names and address of the consultants experts. It was recommended that the national diary of various government and non-governmental organizations, the service offered by them, and the name and address of the consultants experts in the country in the field of neglected children may be got prepared by the Ministry of Welfare. Prayas and effort. Prayas and effort. Neglected juvenile. Prayas Juvenile Aid Center is not an agency for ordinary children or for the well bred young and the childish. It serves extraordinary children who can be categorized under the Juvenile Justice Act 1986 as neglected juveniles with with parents or guardian incapacitated or unfit to look after them, or without having any settled place or abode. The juvenile may at time be found begging. They may fall prey to abuse, exploitation, and or immoral traffic, or may also be placed in extraordinary situation where crime festers. Born fighters, these hardly juveniles brave some of the most hostile surroundings to snatch a livelihood for themselves, and often for their guardian and families if they have any as well. In biting cold, in biting cold, they can be seen huddled in public places, clustered together for warmth, or crooning, scrooging, scrooning for food, or something sellable in garbage heaps. Though born and brought up in uh, filth and squalor, they are undeterred and confident, full of life and potentiality, waiting for some person or institutional support to nurture them into capable human beings. Our experience with Pariyas has shown that pride and independence are two basic in ingredients in the character of such children. Inception. Established with just 25 children on November 14th, 1988, the birth anniversary of Pandit Nehru, Prayas was meant to be a center of juvenile delinquents. The work was started in four one-room flats allotted by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi in Aplok in the Jahangirpuri resettlement colony, realizing soon that the delinquent children could not be separated from the neglected ones. The scope of prayas was expanded since they were conscious of their socio-economic infirmities and surroundings. It was decided to assimilate them with the other children living in the colony having various attributes of Islam. Objectives. At the time of inception, the objectives of Priyas were to one, render psychological support and counseling to inculcate discipline and an urge amongst the children to lead a creative life, to provide education in order to develop an awareness in them about their socio-economic and cultural surroundings, and to motivate them to keep away from visionary vag- vagrancy vagrancy and delinquency. 3, enable them to acquire some vocational skills for enter, for entering a healthy and productive life. 4, conduct research to learn about the problems associated with their delinquent behavior. 5, provide recreational facility including indoor and outdoor games and a library for those interested to read. 6, maintain close liaison with the nearby schools and other institutions in order to promote discipline, civic consciousness including road sense, and to make them aware of the ill effects of drug abuse. 7, inculcate in them a sense of dignity and social responsibility. And 8, adopt correctional measures for juvenile offenders and drug addicts as well as the neglected children in the locality, and to provide them with facility for rehabilitation. In last 4 years, the objective have been expanded to resolve the problems of some other categories of children as well. Prominent ones amongst them being the rag pickers, prayas colo- collaboration raters, prayas collaborators, prayas collaborators, prayas collaborators. The Delhi police, which started this institution, entered into a joint venture with the Delhi School of Social Work (DSSW), and now known as the Department of Social Work or DSW, University of Delhi, and subsequently with Sarmik Vidyapit SB, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. Involvement of DSW in the project came, came about through a UGC demonstration project on street and working children. Very soon it developed into an ongoing association for field work training, participation or of scholars in the program, and fresh research for SB, which generally organize vocational training programs for many groups and institutions. Prayas is something more. It is an organic participation. This collaboration was weathered some of the thoughts challenges. T toast toasted toast toast challenges to emerge as a shining example of interagency cooperation and coordination. The years gone by have witnessed a coming closure for the collaborators and an ever, ever increasing number of benefits. Still date, over 1,800 children have benefited from our programs. During the last 5 years, Prayas has been witnessed a notable change in the attitude of the participating units and the beneficiaries. Drawn from Delhi police, the personals are not merely police women and men, but are social workers. Similarly, the project officer and the trainee social worker from DSW have learned to rub shoulders with Delhi police and the community of Jahangirpuri, converting them to the development by Prayas. The instructor from SB not only teach the neglected children various craft and vocational, but also associated associate themselves with their emotions and aspirations. Functioning as a registered society since August 1989, Prayas has gone through various phases of development. Delhi Police being the initiator and mainly responsible for its is functioning. The Commissioner of Police Delhi remains the president of the society. The three vice president are head of the department, social worker, the director, Sarmik Vidyapit, and one of the additional commissioner of the Delhi Police. The governing body comprise professionals drawn from various fields and prominent social workers. The programs action yesterday and today. Programs activities yesterday and today. Programs activities yesterday and today. Prayas began its operations with the following programs: A. Physical fitness and recreational program with facility for indoor and outdoor games. 2. Elementary non-formal education for the children. Most of women were found to be in illiterate. Those found capped or having aptitude for study were motivated to undergo formal education. 3. Counseling service provided by the trainee social worker from DSW, and 4. Vocational training programs such as chair caning, doll and candle making, tailoring and embroidery, scooter repairs, etc., run by SB. Dr. K.S. Sachdeva, a Rotarian, associated Prayas by organizing a scheme of nutrition comprising of free supply of milk to children. He also runs a periodical dispensary for ailing children. The following programs are being run presently at Prayas. Serial number, programs, year of introduction, organization, contributing, collaborating. 1. Recreation 1988, Delhi Police DP and the Department of Social Work DSW. Education Sarmik Vidyapit SV 1. Coaching classes 1991 DP B. Non formal and 1988 DSW C. Adult education. 3. Health 1989 Rotary Club RC and DSW. 4. Nutrition 1989 RC. 5. Sanitation 1988 DSW and DP. 6. Social Awareness Program NCERT DP. Training social workers from DSW. 7. Annual functions, sports and cultural programs. Annual functions DSW DAP and song and drama division Government of India and sponsors sports 1990 cultural 1991 programs 1992. 8. Vocational training 1989 SB and DP. 1. Tailoring 1991 92. Do embroidery. C. Candle making. D. Chair caning. E. Scooter repairs. D. Detergent powder. A national workshop being organized on the subject of the neglected children on June 1920 1992 to focus the attention of the concerned individual groups and organizations about the problems being faced by neglected street and working children. Future programs follow up the systematic implementation implement the recommendation made in the workshop. Future programs. 1. Follow up to systematically implement the recommendation made in the workshop. To mobilize resources of various projects in hand. All contributions are 100% exempted from income tax. 3. Finalize the proposal for the allotment of land already approved in principle by the DDA MCD to acquire a permanent habit for Prayas. 4. Purchase of 4 low income group LIG quarters, the present operational point for Prayas by Delhi Police, and add 2 more to consolidate and develop the existing programs. 5. Link our educational program to the open school system and the vocational programs with marking to enable the participant to gain academically, occupationally, and financially. 6. Create new program for the placement and rehabilitation of the children trained at Prayas into situation suitable occupations. 7. Appoint a full time coordinator for Prayas and identify an ongoing university based project to replace the UGC project which has come to a close. 8. Start new projects incorporating programs of non-formal education, vocational training, and health in new pockets already identified in the resettlement colony and nearby slums with the cooperation of local leaders and the communities. 9. Extend the activities of Prayas through a local coordination committee comprising key officials from the concerned government agencies, NGOs, and representatives of the community. 10. Restart the non-formal education center in G block, which has been closed, and open more centers with the help of the leaders from the community. And 11. Implement a new health checkup scheme already evolved with the help of Dr. Professor Vijay Anand M College. It envisages periodically associating a team of doctors with the center at Jahangirpuri to provide a preferential referral service at the JPN hospital. Beside the above, a number of projects available with the Sarmik Vidyapit HRD Ministry and Delhi administration have been examined. We are in constant touch with the concerned office with the objective of implementing a selected few schemes for benefiting our target groups. Impediments overcome. Impediments overcome. At least At least 1859 participant children have already benefited till the beginning of 1993 from the various programs run by us, and 894 are presently enrolled. In a, in a way, many of these programs provided advantage of overlapping nature to the children, since some of the beneficiaries switch over from one activity to another. At present, 125 children participate in the recreation programs, 140 in educational programs, 200 in nutrition cum health programs, 125 in sanitation program, 130 in vocational training programs, and 70 children in the social awareness building activities. Since majority of the participants at Prayas are rag pickers or street and working children, they have to earn their livelihood and also support their families. Consequently, the number of dropouts become quite high due to the facts for these children. To keep on participating in the program is often a challenge in itself. However, bearing the initial reservation on the part of the parents or the guardian who did not want to lose the earning of the children, the participation of children in various programs has steadily grown. The participant and the community do not realize that Prayas is attempting to bring about basic and positive change in the lives of their children, hope and aspirations. With education, the young mind are opening up a new vistas, basic lessons in hygiene and civic consciousness. Likewise, are gradually changing their attitudes towards the life and environment. Vocational training programs, nutrition, and health support further generate new hope and aspirations. Having kind, kindled, kindled such hope and aspiration in the mind of the children, there is a suitable transition from the darkness to the light. This transition involves a strange amalgam of pain and pleasure, of past success and frustration. The children need sound personal, organizational, and community based support to prepare them to the mainstream of life like others who are more privileged. They also need proper education, food, nourishment, and a healthy and productive occupation. The biggest question still is having giving them aspirations and a vision of a dignified and better life, which they surely deserve. Are we, the community at large, prepare to commit ourselves to generously work for the welfare and rehabilitation of the children? Problem. The main reason behind the vulnerability of target population is is imposition 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 of family and social norms by the advantage group of unconstitutional system. They take away disadvantage away disadvantage group representation and participation on the name of ability and competition. They are responsible for corruption in the set of superstition and god, due to which all efforts and resources for upliftment of disadvantaged group going waste. Say literacy, illiteracy, ignorance, blind belief, superstitions. Due to which all efforts and resources for the upliftment of disadvantaged group going waste. Solution: identify the children, pupil, and target group on the basis of their background and profession occupation to provide constitutional progressive environment for overall healthy development, which include food clothing food shelter, recreation, education, vocational education, cognitive development, emotional and psychological support, physical development, etc. Approaches: preventive, ameliorative, immediate need. Ameliorative, immediate need. Promotive, curative, rehabilitative, re- reform, reformative, rehabilitative, welfare, correctional aspects. Transparency, felt, perceived, indifferent, and diverse need. Felt, perceived, indifferent, and diverse need. Felt, perceived, indifferent, and diverse need. What, why, when, where, how. By giving answer of these we can identify the problem of target group and give solution of that. Undeserving sharks, undeserving sharks take all the benefit of all the programs, and deserving candidates could not get benefit of that. Self-esteem, confidence, confidence, optimum utilization of all type of resources, high degree of survival instinct, instinct high degree of survival instinct, independence, innovativeness, entrepreneurship we can find in neglected children. Free them for ignorance, sense of insecurity. Free them from ignorance, sense of insecurity, social incompetence, in inadequacy, in inferiority, deficiency, delineations. Felt need, perceived need. Free them from ignorance, sense of insecurity, social incompetence, inadequacy, in inferiority, deficiency, alienations. Social, economic, technical, environmental, political, etc. Convergence. Problems and emotion problems, emotional, psychosocial, learnings, intellectual neglect. Problems: emotional, psychosocial, learning, intellectual neglect. Feedback ought to be obtained, follow up action. Training in income generation activity. Work in innovative, creative, work in innovative, creative, and challenging field. Trained, competent, con- concerned, creative, innovative, functions administrator. Trained, committed, creative, concerned, creative, innovative. Trained, committed, concerned, creative, innovative, Functions and administration, functional level and administrative level. Empowerment and development. People are to be blamed who wants partial reforms for the sake of their corruption, their their livelihood and corruption, and to protect unconstitutional system again against constitutional system. People are to be blamed who want partial reform for the sake of their livelihood and corruption, and to protect unconstitutional system against constitutional systems. Criminal justice system, juvenile justice, care and protection of children, various uh, for forensics indices, DNA, fin, fingerprint, tax, textiles, botanical evidences, tool marks, etc. Explosion is blast effect. Explosion is blast effect. Explosion has blast effect. Photography documentation, videography documentation, audio documentation, written documentation, control to control redefine defending re to control reoffending to control reoffending repeat crimes, to control reoffending repeat crime. It high time for maximum action and very small and partial and specific study, not more than 1 hour in a day. Assumption, accumulated accumulated inspection, in analyze, examination, determination. Assumption, accumulation, inspection, analyze, examination, determination, identification, collection, preservation, strengthen homeland and security. In investigation, scene overview. It is high time for for maximum action and very small, partial and specific study, not more than 1 hours in a day. Identification, collection, preservation of evidences, strength, homeland security, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, social worker, disadvised and advised and intervention, advice and intervention, doctor, psychiatrists, psychologist, social worker, advice and interventions, advocate also provide their services. There are so many other professionals. Planning, administrative, functional, etc. Convergence. To learn on illegal, unconscious, zero tolerance on illegal, unconstitutional corruption behavior in family and society. Zero tolerance on illegal, unconstitutional, corruptional behavior in family and society. Zero tolerance on illegal, unconstitutional, corruptional, behavioral, family behavior in family and society. Obtain evidence on explosion. Obtain evidence on explosion, judicial custody or police custody. Remand equal to पूछताछ. Wellness in integration. Wellness integration. Spying, जासूसी करना. Offense, अफराध. Complainant, witnessed, accused, offender, defender. Investigation, prosecution, process, दोषारोपण. Cognizance, इल्जाम, संज्ञान. Cognizance, इल्जाम, अभियोजन, संज्ञान या हस्तक्षेप. Notice or action. So there are complainant, witnesses, accused, 1 complainant, 2 witnesses, 3 accused and offender are same. Accused, offender, defender are same. 4 investigators, prosecution process, 5 prosecution process, judge, and then judge 5 judge take cognizance. Notice and action. 1 complainant, 2 witnesses, 3 accused, 4 prosecutions, 5 cognizance. accused, offender, defender, all same. After custody produced within 24 hours. After 24 hours, it's considered illegal detentions. Article 21, life and liberty must be provided whatever whatever police has taken oral or written research, those are the two admissible. Written record, those are to be are to admissible. Article 21, life and liberty be must not be violated. Article life and liberty must not be violated whenever police has taken oral or written record. Those are not admissible in court. Degree of influence degree of influence of unconstitutional systems. Degree of influence of unconstitutional systems. Law in law enforcement agency forms of stratification in society and locality. Forms of stratification in society and locality: one system to caste system based on occupation. Subcaste system: division of society: who is beneficiaries advantage group and who is disadvantaged group of one system. And caste system versus constitutional system. Rule of law: rule of offenders, criminal systems. Rule of offender, criminal systems. Subcaste system: division of society: who is beneficiary advantage group and who is disadvantaged group. Who is the beneficiary of advantage group and who is disadvantaged group of one system. And caste system versus constitutional system and rule of law. Preliminary examination analysis. Instrument examination analysis. Preliminary examination analysis. Instrument examination analysis. Cognizance and cognizable and non-cognizable offense. Bailable and non-bailable offense. Petty up to 3 years. Serious 3 to 7 years. Heinous above 7 years. Apprehension memo for child and adult offenses. Offenses granted without offenses, granted without warrant and custody, grants personality traits, personality traits, post crop offenses grant without warrant and custody, personality traits, post crop, pre preventive custody, preventive custody, apprehension of a person for prevention of crime, heredity and environment, cognitive development, positivity and negativity. Positivity, talents, capabilities, participation, recreation, education, vocational training, emotional factors, physical appearance, intelligence, constitutional environment, child friendly, right of child, opportunity, equality, recreation, ownership, re, repart, representation, voice to be heard, freedom, accessibility, dignity, confidentiality, all legal and constitutional rights, all human, natural and international rights, negativity, exploitation, mutual distrust, abandoned abuse, CCL, complaint, complainant, CNCP, destitute, difficult circumstances, disadvantaged, poor, neglected, orphaned, risk, street, victim, working, beggar, uncontrollable, maltreated, exploited, alienated, traumatized, depressed, rag picking, prostitutes, leprosy, drug addicts, anti-constitutional environment,
victim, working, victim, working, senior, no, occupations, 1, agarbatti making, 2, agriculture, 3, agriculture machinery handling, 4, Anganwadi workers, 5, animal husbandry, 6, arak and liquor production and vending, 7, asha workers, 8, audio and visual workers, 9, automobile work, 10, bakery work, 11, band playing, 12. Bangle manufacturing. 13. Beads making piercing. 14. Beautician. 15. BD manufacture. 16. Bicycle repair. 17. Bindi work. 18. Blacksmithy. 19. Boat ferry occupation. 20. Book binding. 21. Brick kiln work. 22. Brush making. 23. Breweries distilleries. 24. Building and road maintenance. 25. Bulb manufacture. 26. Bullock camel cart operation. 27. Butchery. 28. Cable TV operation. 29. Cane reed work. 30. Carpentry. 31. Carpet weaving. 32. Cashew processing. 33. Catering. 34. Chicken work. 35. Cine service. 36. Cloth printing. 37. Clubs and canteen service. 38. Coaching service. 39. Coir processing manufacture. 40. Confectionery. 41. Construction work. 42. Construction of tents and pedals, supply of utensils and decoration for function. 43. Courier service. 44. Dairying and allied activities. 45. Data entry operation. 46. Distribution of petroleum products. 47. Domestic work. 48. Dyeing. 49. Electrical goods repairs. 50. Electroplating. 51. Embroidery work. 52. Envelope making. 53. Firework cracker production. 54. Fishery production. 55. Fish processing. 56. Flora work and garland making. 57. Flour mills operations. 58. Footwear production. 59. Forestry operation. 60. Foundry. 61. Gardening and parks maintenance. 62. Garment manufacture. 63. Gem cutting. 64. Ginning. 65. Glassware manufacturing. 66. Goldsmithy. 67. Hairdressing. 68. Handloom weaving. 69. Hawking and vending. 70. Headroad work. 71. Health service. 72. Honey gathering. 73. Horticulture and floriculture. 74. Hotel and restaurant service. 75. Lock making. 76. Manual operation on unspecified jobs. 77. Masala making. 78. Matches manufacture. 79. Midday meal worker. 80. Minor forest produce gathering. 81. Minor mineral and mines work. 82. Newspaper vending. 83. NGO service. 84. Oil extraction. 85. Packing and packaging. 86. Panvilla service. 87. Puppet making. 88. Petrol bunk pump and allied service. 89. Pickle making. 90. Plantation other than those covered under Plantation Labor Act, 1951 Act No. 69 of 1951. 91. Plastic manufacture. 92. Pottery. 93. Powerloom weaving. 94. Printing press work. 95. Quarry work. 96. Rug picking. 97. Rice milling. 98. Rickshaw pulling. 99. Salt pan work. 100. Sand mining. 101. Sawmill work. 102. Scavenging. 103. Security service. 104. Sericulture silk rearing. 105. Service station work. 106. Shepherding. 107. Shoe shining work. 108. Shop and establishment service. 109. Small scale industries. 110. Soap manufacture. 111. Sports good manufacture. 112. Steel vessels and utensils manufacture. 113. Stone crushing. 114. Sweeping. 115. Tanning including hides and skin production, leather goods manufacture. 116. Telephone booth service. 117. Temple leaves collection. 118. Tendu leaves collection. 119. Timber industry, furniture manufacturing etc. 120. Tobacco processing. 121. Toddy tapping. 122. Toy making. 123. Transport service, driving, conducting, cleaning etc. 124. Laundry work. 125. Wayside mechanics and workshop service. 126. Welding. 127. Any other similar occupation. Personality traits. Able-bodied. Adoring. Adventurous. Ambitious. Argumentative. Arrogant. Articulate. Bashful. Beautiful. Bellicose. Belligerent. Bewildered. Boastful. Bright. Brilliant. Calculating. Calm. Cantankerous. Cautious. Classy. Clever. Compassionate. Complacent. Confident. Conniving. Conscientious. Considerate. Cooperative. Cordial. Courageous. Cunning. Curious. Dainty. Daring. Dashing. Dastardly. Deceitful. Decent. Deceptive. Defiant. Delicate. Determined. Devious. Devout. Disagreeable. Dreaded. Dubious. Duplicitous. Dutiful. Eager. Efficient. Eloquent. Emphatic. Encouraging. Energetic. Enterprising. Enthusiastic. Errant. expressive, extroverted, exuberant, facetious, faithful, fatigued, felicitous, flippant, forceful, forgiving, forthright, fortitudinous, fortunate, frustrated, garish, generous, gentle, giddy, glamorous, good-natured, gorgeous, graceful, gracious, grateful, gregarious, gullible, handsome, handy, hardy, harsh, helpful, homely, honest, honorable, hopeful, hospitable, hostile, humble, imaginative, immoral, impartial, imperial, impish, impulsive, indecisive, independent, intelligent, intolerant, intrepid, intriguing, introspective, introverted, inventive, jaded, jealous, jolly, jovial, jubilant, judgmental, just, juvenile, keen, kingly, knavish, knightly, knowledgeable, lackadaisical, lavish, lazy, lecherous, legendary, lethargic, lewd, liberal, lovable, loyal, malevolent, malicious, manipulative, materialistic, matronly, meek, melancholy, meritorious, meticulous, mischievous, monstrous, moronic, morose, munificent, narcissistic, naive, nervous, neurotic, neutral, noble, nonchalant, nostalgic, nubile, nurturing, obese, obnoxious, obsequious, obsessed, obtuse, opinionated, optimistic, opulent, honorary, ostentatious, partisan, passive, patient, patriotic, penitent, perceptive, perfectionist, personable, pessimistic, pitiful, playful, pleasant, pompous, proud, prudent, punctilious, punctual, quaint, quarrelsome, quiet, quirky, quizzical, rambunctious, rancorous, rash, rational, reasonable, rebellious, reserved, resilient, respectful, responsible, reverent, rigid, rotund, rowdy, ruthless, saintly, sensible, sensitive, serious, shallow, sheepish, shrewd, sinister, slovenly, sociable, spontaneous, stately, staunch, stealthy, stern, strict, stubborn, studious, tenacious, terrifying, thoughtful, thrifty, timid, tolerant, treacherous, treasonous, truculent, trusting, uncouth, understanding, unfortunate, unscrupulous, unwise, vain, vehement, vengeful, versatile, vindictive, wasteful, willful, wise, xenophobic, youthful, zealous. Types of neglected children: abandoned, abused, alienated, anti-constitution environment, beggar, CCL, complainant, CNCP, depressed, destitute, difficult circumstances, disadvantaged, drug addict, exploited, leprosy, poor, maltreated, mutual distrust, neglected, orphaned, prostitute, rat picker, risk, street, traumatized, uncontrollable, victim, working,